Okay, so we have our box here. I'm going to use this tissue box. I do have some tissue boxes this year in my classroom for you to use if you want, or you can use a cereal box or something like that that you get at home. Just instead of putting it in the trash, uh, you can use this. I want to show you something here. I wrote these notes off on the side. First of all, we're going to use our 3/4 inch scale on our ruler to measure here. So we want to make sure we know where our 3/4 scale is. The lumber that we're going to use for this project to build these rafters is 2x6 lumber. Okay, so let's go back to this, and I'm going to show you the first step here. Okay, so I'm going to take my scale, and the first thing I want to do is I want to measure the width of my box. Remember, this box is sort of like these are the walls in your house, and then this is the end of the house, the gable end wall, they call this. So, and then these are the side walls, okay? So I'm going to measure the width of this box. So I'll put my ruler on the 0 here on the left-hand side, and I take a look over here on the right, and I can see that I am past the 6-foot mark. That's the 6-foot mark. So I'm going to pull the 6-foot mark over till it's even, and then I'll take a look on the left-hand side at where I end up numbers wise, and right about 6 feet 4 inches. Okay, so I want to know what half of, and I'll just bring my camera back up here so that we can see things well. So I want to know, I'll give a little focus action. Okay, all right, so I want to know what half of, I want to know what half of 6 feet 4 inches is, which is, of course, 3 feet 2 inches. So right down here on this bottom line, I'm going to find my 3-foot mark on here. I can probably try and give this a little bit of a closer up. Maybe that'll work. There we go, sort of. All right. I'll focus this again. So I'm going to take the center line that I have here, and I'm going to draw going this way, 3 feet 2 inches, and I'm going to be 3 feet 2 inches in the opposite side. So how I'll do this is I'm just going to put my ruler on the paper here, and I'm going to put the 3-foot mark right on the center line of the paper. Remember, this is the center line, CL. Okay, and I'm going to go back to my 0, and then I want to go 2 inches, which is 1, 2, right there. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side, except I'm going to put the 2-inch mark on the center line, and this is, you're not going to see this one unless I change things here. There we go. So I put the 2-inch mark on the center line there, and I'm going to go to 3 feet here and put that mark. Okay, now bring this back so you can see it. All right, so I've got that measurement done. Now what I want to do is I want to take my square. Here's my square, and I'm going to put my triangle on it, and I'll give you a couple different choices here. And this is where you can't see my hand, but right now I'm holding the head of the square against, I'm pointing it, pulling this direction to keep it against the edge of the drawing board. and I'm going to put my pencil on this 3 foot 2 inch mark, and I'm going to bring my triangle over, and I'm just going to make a nice line right there. All right. Now there is another way to go about doing this if you want. You don't have to use the square. Instead, and I'll zoom up a little bit here probably. Instead, what I can do is I can just take my T-square, and because I made the paper even with the bottom of the board, or it's parallel with the bottom of the board. The edge of the paper here is parallel with the bottom of the board here. I can just take my T-square and put it down here, and I can draw this white line right here. Okay. All right. So that's not too bad. I'm going to pick this up, and we're going to come out a little bit here. Okay, so I'll get my square out of the way. All right, now back to my ruler. Well, maybe I shouldn't have zoomed out so fast. Okay, well, sorry about that. I'll show you what I'm going to do here on this edge. This is the wall. This is the outside of the wall, by the way. So I'm going to want to change that, or I'm going to want, not change it, but I'm going to want to mark in, and I got to find my 3/4 scale. There it is again. I want to go and put the inner wall, draw that in, and that goes that way. And on this side, I'm going to draw a line in pointing in that direction towards the center line. So I'm going to find where 6 inches is on my scale. And remember, this tick mark right here is 3 inches. So 3, 6. And remember, I'm using 2x6 lumber. So I'm just going to put a mark there. Now I'll come over to this other side, and I'll put my ruler on 0, and I'll go 3, 6, and I'll just put a line there also. Now I'm going to draw my vertical lines again. I'll use the square, and I'm going to pull against the head of the square, and I'm just going to draw in my wall thickness. Actually, you know what? I goofed. I just thought of this. This should only be 2 inches thick. Well, that's okay for now, I guess. Really don't necessarily need that mark. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to do the following thing. I'm going to bring my square down, and I'm just going to go up. Let's see, how far do I want to go up? How wide is this thing? About 2.5. So I actually want to go up from the bottom of here about 1 inch. That's really all I need, inch and a half. It doesn't have to be anything too super specific. I'm just going to do this right now, and I'm just going to draw lines across the walls right there. Actually, I'll go from the outside of one wall to the outside of the other, right like that. Okay, so that's going to be the center line of this wall. Now, up from this line, and this is a case where I do want to do 6 inches on my 3/4 scale. So I'll find my 3/4 scale, and I'm going to measure up 6 inches. So I'll go 3, 6, and I'll put a mark right at the 0 there. Okay, and I'll bring my square down because I do want this to be a 6-inch thick piece of material here. So I'm just going to draw that nice line right there. So I've got a 6-inch piece of material here. These should be 2 inches, not 6, but that's okay. It really isn't mission critical. All right. So I've got the walls laid out right now for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video and you can get caught up on this. And then when we come back, what we'll start doing is we'll start drawing the actual rafters themselves.